Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So, think about meeting new people, maybe making some small talk at a party or going to a networking event. It can honestly feel a little awkward sometimes, right? Especially when you're practicing a new language. But conversation almost always comes back to one core topic: what we do for a living. So, today, we're going to absolutely master the art of talking about jobs and careers in English. We'll look at how to ask the right questions, how to describe jobs perfectly, and I'm even going to share a special trick to help our Portuguese-speaking friends avoid a super common grammar trap. All right, let's dive right into it. Imagine you're at a party. You've just been introduced to someone new. You smile, you shake hands, and then what do you actually say? Well, where do you work is pretty much your golden key. It opens up the conversation and instantly connects you to real-world topics. But, to keep that conversation flowing naturally past that initial awkward silence, we really need to know exactly how to structure our questions and our answers. So here's our roadmap for today. We're covering 1. Talking about work, 2. Asking what and where, 3. The how question, 4. Describing jobs with the verb be, 5. The adjective plus noun rule, and 6. Putting it all together. Section 1. Talking about work. You might actually hear native English speakers use these two words as if they mean the exact same thing, but there is a slight difference. A job is simply what you do right now to earn money. A career, on the other hand, is your long-term work path. Think of a media broadcaster. Today, they have a career in media, having worked in the industry for, say, 20 years. But when they were a student, they probably had lots of different jobs, working in a hotel, being a waiter, or maybe even frying fish and chips for a summer. Those were jobs, but their actual career is in broadcasting. Let's look at a really good example. This is Andrea. She says, "I'm a guide. I take people on tours to countries in South America, like Peru." Notice how incredibly natural this sounds. She states her job title first, "I'm a guide," and then she uses the simple present tense to explain her daily routine. "I take people on tours." This is exactly the pattern you want to mimic when introducing your own job. Section 2. Asking what and where. Now, to ask questions in English, we need what's called a helper verb. If the subject is I or you, our helper verb is do. For example, what do you do? But, and this is crucial, if we're talking about a third person, he or she, that helper verb changes to does. And notice the main verb when we actually answer. When we make statements about he or she, we have to add an S, like works, studies, or teaches. Let's compare them side by side. What do you do versus what does Andrea do? Andrea is a she, so we absolutely must use does. It's such a tiny word, but using does correctly is literally what instantly makes your English sound polished and supernatural to native speakers. Let's actually practice this rule right now. Picture a guy playing a violin and ask yourself the questions out loud. What does he do? Well, looking at him, we can say, he is a musician, or he plays the violin. Now, where does he work? He works on the street, or maybe he works in a city center. Did you catch how I said he plays and he works? That's the present simple with he in action. Section 3. The how question. Okay, this next question is your absolute best friend for keeping a conversation going. How does she like it? Or, if you're talking directly to someone, how do you like it? It asks for an opinion. It tells the other person that you actually care about their feelings regarding their work, not just the cold, hard facts. Going back to Andrea, the tour guide, for a second, her response was so positive. "Yeah, it's a great job. I really love it." When you're answering this question yourself, you can talk about whether you love it or hate it, sure, but you can also add little details about your routine to keep the chat going. You might say, "I love it, but I work the night shift," or "It's good, but I'm working a lot of overtime right now," or OT, as it's sometimes called in English. Those little details make your answers rich and much more engaging. Section 4. Describing jobs with be. Take a second to mentally scan this awesome list of descriptive adjectives. These are the words that truly bring a conversation to life. Is your job exciting? Is it stressful? Maybe it's well paid, but kind of boring. If you're taking notes, definitely jot a few of these down. Rewarding is a really fantastic one. It means your job gives you a deep, good feeling because you're doing something genuinely valuable. So, how do we actually use those words in a sentence? The first grammatical pattern is super straightforward. You take the job, you add the verb to be, like is or are, and then plug in the adjective. A doctor's job is stressful. This structure is wonderful because if your native language is Portuguese, This translates almost exactly word for word. It feels very comfortable, very safe. Section 5, the adjective plus noun rule. All right, I like to call this part the Portuguese fix. We have our comfortable sentence, a doctor's job is stressful. But when we use the verb has, the entire structure flips. A doctor has a stressful job. Do you notice where the adjective goes? It jumps right in front of the noun. You absolutely cannot say, a doctor has a job stressful. In English, the descriptive word always comes first. Stressful job, difficult test, red car. Let's cement this rule with another quick example. The safe way, a window washer's job is dangerous. But the more advanced native-sounding way, a window washer has a dangerous job. Dangerous comes right before a job. If you can master this little flip, your English is going to instantly sound so much more natural to native ears. Section 6, putting it all together. Let's look at a profile for a guy named Ryan. Notice how everything we've just talked about is working perfectly together right here. The question asks, what does Ryan do? Using our third-person helper verb. The answer is, he's a website designer. Next question, where does he work? The answer has that vital S on the verb. He works for a big computer company. And finally, what does he do exactly? Look at the answer carefully. He designs fantastic websites. Boom, there's our adjective rule. Fantastic comes right before websites. It's textbook perfect. And honestly, now, so are you. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. And to the ultimate question for you. What do you do for a living? I want you to take the tools we learned today, the do and does, those descriptive adjectives, the adjective before noun rule, and try answering this for yourself right now. Does your job excite you? Are you maybe looking for a whole new career? Practice answering it out loud. Thank you so much for learning with me today on The Explainer. Keep practicing, and I'll see you next time.